Hello, welcome to the Integrated Presentation and Data Analytics course. This course is based on the course materials of Pearson Consulting Services. This week, we are going to undergo the Data Analytics course. I believe it's the third module of the Data Analytics course, and the third module is Descriptive. So, data analytics, descriptive analytics. So, last week, we have reminded ourselves with the data terminology and the basic statistics. Let me just flash again our data analytics framework, which we have elaborated last meeting. The start of the framework, we have source systems, wherein we have understood that source systems can come from both hard and soft means. So when we say hard means, we talk about our questionnaires, our surveys, our reports, while soft means, we talk about different information systems that require data. And after source systems, we have the procedure ETL. ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. So in this procedure, we fine-tune and transform the data from our source systems. And that transformed or fine-tuned data, it will be properly stored in our data warehouse. As IT professionals, we are more familiar with the term databases. After our data has been stored in our data warehouse, we can segment it into different marts, or what we call data marts. And those uh, different data sets segmented into different marts can now be analyzed in either of these three types. The first type is descriptive, the second type is predictive, and the last type is prescriptive. This week, we will be talking about the base analytics, which is descriptive. So this descriptive is the basic of the basics type of analytics that we can do with our datasets. In descriptive analytics, data is described and summarized using basic statistical tools and graphs to produce reports and dashboards for decision making. We emphasize in descriptive analytics the word basic. We have undergone our basic statistics during our undergrad, and those that we have learned in our statistics is what we're going to do with descriptive analytics. In descriptive statistics, these are the two processes that we're going to undertake in this course. First one is we summarize, and the second one is we organize. During our training with this course, we from the Department of Agriculture have identified some of the descriptive statistics that we're doing with our datasets, and those are central tendency and variation. And these types of descriptive statistics are best visualized using graphs or charts. So in descriptive analytics, this is our shopping list of different tools that we can use to describe our datasets. The first one is cross-tabulation. In cross-tabulation, we can demonstrate this using pivot tables in Microsoft Excel. We also have descriptive stat, covariance analysis, correlation analysis, moving average, histograms. These tools can be invoked using a plugin available in MS Excel called Analysis Toolpack. And then lastly, we have Excel charts. So in Excel, chart functionalities are available. We were talking about cross-tabulation a while ago, and from what we have discussed last week, when we properly turn our dataset into a data warehousing form, we transform our dataset into tables. We can do different things like frequencies and summaries, and also we can also cross-tabulate our different variables from our datasets, and that is through using MS Excel pivot table. So these are just some of the results that we can derive from our descriptive statistics. We have mean, median, mode, standard error, variance, standard deviation, sum, and count. We also have mean, max, range, skewness, kurtosis. The central tendencies that we're talking about here is the mean median mode. Standard error indicates how close the sample mean is from the true population mean. The sample variance measures the dispersion of the data from the mean. It is the simple mean of the squared distance from the mean. The standard deviation is the squared root of the variance. Indicates how close the data is to the mean. Assuming a normal distribution, 68% of the values are within 1 standard deviation from the mean, 95% within 2 standard deviation, and 99% within 3 standard deviation. Of course, you all know what sum and count can do, and also the minimum and the maximum. That's just the minimum value of the sample and the maximum value of the sample. And then the range is the range of the values. Skewness measures the symmetry of the data, and kurtosis, the current view of kurtosis argues that it measures the peak of a distribution. So you can refer to your basic statistics when we're talking about descriptive statistics. Moving average. So moving average is analyzing data points by creating a series of averages of different subsets of the full dataset. One application of moving average is the stock markets. We can predict data with respect to time. So even if we have not yet get hold of a data, we can predict its value by the history of different values from its past. So that's the use of moving average. Covariance. Covariance is the relationship between movement of two variables. And correlation is the strength of relationship between the movement of two variables. Whenever we have a chance to use these two statistical tools, covariance and correlation, we can just reference our demonstration because Microsoft Excel can provide us the means to calculate these two different statistical tools. Okay, we will try to demonstrate descriptive analytics using Microsoft Excel. Here we have a dataset that was pulled from Facebook, and what we would want to do here is about market segmentation. The purpose of the market segmentation is to identify the segments that are best suited for marketing campaign. So we have questions here. Create segments by generation. A from 13 to 19, Gen Y. B from 20 to 29, Gen Y mature. C from 30 to 39, Gen X. D from 40 to 49 years old, Gen X mature. And beyond 50 years old, we have baby boomer. Number two question, which segments are the highest and lowest users of SMS? The last question is, how would you tap that segment? A while ago, we identified different statistical tools that are under the type of descriptive analytics, and one is cross-tabulation. So we will use pivot table in coming up with answers to these questions. Let's first do question number 1. Create segments by generation. Looking at the dataset, we have different variables: FB status, gender, age, SMS number, and users. I believe this should be FB users. But we don't have a variable for generation. So what we're going to do is to create another column or field that is called generation. Maybe we would insert here between SMS number and FB users, generation. And we will use the age variable to identify the generation. So how would we do it? We will use simple formula using the if function. We will use a nested if function. So if age is lesser than or equal to 19, then we will label it as Gen Y. And then we have false value. Since this is a nested if, the false value would be another if statement. If age is lesser or equal to 29, then we will label it as Gen Y mature. Again, the false statement is another if statement. If age is lesser or equal to 39, we will label it as Gen X. And then another if statement for the false. If age is lesser than 49, we will label it as Gen X mature. And lastly, the false statement, or the else statement I should say, we will label it as baby boomer. And then mind the closing parenthesis. Just copy that to the other cells. And then we have already categorized or segmentized the generation. Now we want to turn this table or this dataset into a proper table. So we just highlight it and then go to Insert Ribbon and click Table. Dialog box appearing in the middle, just click OK. If you would want an interactive filter, we can use a slicer on the Design ribbon and Insert Slicer. And you can select any of the variables that you would want to interactively demonstrate. So if I click FB status options would show, and if I click divorce, only divorce data will appear. If I click domestic partnership, only domestic partnership would appear, and so on and so forth. So this is useful when you are presenting. However, for us to really harness cross-tabulation, we will use pivot table. Let's just delete that and return. Question number 2. Which segments are the highest and lowest users of SMS? Go to Insert Data ribbon and click Pivot Table. On the dialog box that would appear, we would want to use the existing worksheet, and we will put it here. Press OK. So we want the variables generation and SMS number. So how would we uh, determine the highest and the lowest users of SMS on the different segments? We will put generation by clicking it, and it will automatically go to our rows. As you can see, it dynamically showed the rows, and we would want to put SMS number into values. So just click it and drag on the values. So that's it. We have a sum of SMS number per segment in the generation variable. So let's try to use our learning from our past meeting using our ETL processing. We'd want to determine the highest. Let's just go to Home ribbon, conditional formatting, top bottom cell rules. Maybe we can use top 10 items and just change that to 1. As you can see, the top segment is Gen Y mature. Okay, the top segment is Gen Y mature, and the lowest segment is baby boomer. Now, question number three asks us, how would you tap that segment? So it's easy. We would want to filter Gen Y mature only. Okay. We could play with the different variables available on our dataset. We can tap further this segment Gen Y mature with the other variables in our dataset, because we could not generally target this Gen Y mature market totally. We would want to know the different status of this Gen Y mature. For us to do that, we would want FB status variable in our rows, and we could also put our gender variable into columns to determine the gender of the status. So here's the result of the cross-tabulation. So the status are divorced, domestic partnership, engaged, it's complicated, married, not specified, open relationship, relationship separated, single, widowed. Let's try to apply again conditional formatting for us to easily determine the top value. Okay. And same as well on the male gender. So in this dataset, the highest SMS users are from Gen Y mature who are single. So we could easily target later on in our SMS marketing those single Gen Y mature. Okay, so that's for SMS marketing. If you would want to know about digital marketing using the FB user variable, you can just also do that by replacing SMS number on the values with FB user. Okay, we're done with cross-tabulation. We'll now go with descriptive statistics. Okay, using the same data, we would want to enable analysis toolpack, and this we would try to demonstrate descriptive analysis on age variable, histogram on age variable, moving average, covariance on age and SMS, and correlation on age and SMS. The first thing we're going to do is to enable analysis toolpack. Let's just go to the File ribbon, Options, Add-ins, Excel Add-ins by default, and then go and just click Just Check Analysis Toolpack. Click OK. For us to know if the plugin is enabled, let's go to Data ribbon, and at the very end of the option Analysis, we have Data Analysis. That's the way for us to know that the plugin is already enabled. The data analysis is easy with an analysis toolpack. Just click it, and there are options for us to do different statistical tools, and one is descriptive statistics. So just click OK, and in the dialog box we have input range. So I'll just select the data, press enter, and the output range, we'll just put it here, and click summary statistics and press OK. So there we have it. We have the descriptive statistics of the age variable. So just like on the slides a while ago on our PowerPoint, we have the mean, we have the standard error, we have median, mode, standard deviation, sample variance, kurtosis, skewness, range, minimum, maximum, sum, and count. Usually, when our dataset is turned into a table, we need not the descriptive statistics from the analysis toolpack. So we just turn it into a table. Okay. And then on the design ribbon, just click on the total row under the table style options. So as you can see, it added another row with the total, and there is a drop down for options on average, count, count number, max, min, sum, standard deviation, variance, and more function. So that's another way. Okay. Histogram and age variable. Histogram can be done through a table, tabular form, or on the chart form. So we're used with the chart form. Just highlight the data, and then go to Insert ribbon, and under Charts, we have an option for histogram. So there we have it. Have a histogram of the age variable. So you can visualize here already that ages 19 to 23 have the highest samples. Next, number 3, moving average. But let's use another data for this. Because this moving average is used for stock market, so it is more useful on data that has a time element. So for example, I would want to moving average sales. Let's go to data analysis, select moving average, and the input range, I want the total sales, and interval, I would want to get uh, the previous 5 instances and average it, so 5, and output range, put it here. So press OK. There we have it. We have forecasted sales. As you can see, there are 4 NA here. So the fifth generated data has already a value. Okay, we will use moving average on time series decomposition on predictive analysis next week. Next, covariance and correlation. So again, let's just go to data ribbon, analysis, data analysis, and we have options here for covariance and correlation. Let's click covariance, input range. We want the age and SMS number data. Okay. And then output range. I want to put it here. Wait. I put it here. Okay. So that's covariance. Let's also do the correlation. Data analysis and correlation. Input range. And then output range. Let's just output range. Let's just click it here. Then press OK. So there you have it. I'm not a statistician, so I could not fully explain covariance and correlation. But what we would want to know with the age and SMS is that whether age groups are correlated with the variable SMS. I hope this demonstration could be of help to you in analyzing your data for your presentations. Thank you and goodbye.